The price of Bitcoin is $86,500. The fear and greed index has dropped down some points today, and I honestly don't understand why. It's going to be another one of those videos whereby it's pretty much nothing but good news. Connor Kenny reporting here today. Breaking: Texas is buying $5 million in a Bitcoin ETF as a placeholder before finalizing its own Bitcoin reserve. I don't know why Texas needs Bitcoin. It doesn't need to make sense, but it's bullish. JP Morgan, after attacking MicroStrategy non-stop for the past week, trying to cause the share price to dump, trying to cause Bitcoin price to dump, has done exactly what you'd expect JP Morgan to do and just filed to launch a Bitcoin-backed bond, a $4 trillion asset manager launching its own Bitcoin-backed bond, directly competing with MicroStrategy. Oh, I wonder why they were attacking MicroStrategy the past week and causing the price of Bitcoin to go down. It's almost like somebody wanted an entry. It's almost like if JP Morgan are launching another Bitcoin-backed fund, they're going to have to go out and buy a bunch of Bitcoin for that fund. The idea that we are in a bear market, right? I just don't understand. It makes no sense. How can we be in a bear market? I suppose it is kind of possible. There is something later on in this video that I'm going to show you that will kind of counter that point. But anyway, JD Vance says, "We fired Gary Gensler and we will fire anyone like him who is against the growth of crypto." So back on the topic of the growth of crypto, I think we're at a point now where the market is starting to turn, and we're going to talk about that in this video. So if you wouldn't mind, drop a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Press the damn button. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very optimistic about this today. I think it looks very good that what is going on with the price of Bitcoin right now. I'm not really concerned about Bitcoin, not really concerned about Ethereum. For me, seeing these things, these recent price actions happening, I am very bullish on it. And the same goes for Solana as well. A lovely opportunity for an entry this morning in theory, but we'll talk more about that as the video goes on. The first story that I'd like to highlight today is something that Dave Ramsey said a long time ago, back when Bitcoin was $559. In fact, I remember this clip coming out at the time. And I know for a fact some of my videos age like milk. I'm not immune to seeing the irony sometimes when I'm wrong, but I've never been that badly wrong, never been this badly wrong. The reason I bring this up is because I feel like a lot of the people that are still maintaining this bearish narrative will probably end up looking like this in a couple of days.
And what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a currency on the internet. It has no value except to the extent someone else will take it from you as value. Just like that paper has no value except the extent someone else will take it. So Bitcoin is the Iraqi dinar of the internet. And I know intelligent people who, while they're intelligent, are not wise, that have put a bunch of money in Bitcoin. But it's a really good way to turn $1 million into nothing.
I think that it's hilarious. Bear in mind, he was saying this when Bitcoin was $500. Don't be that guy. Just have some optimism in your life. Also, don't be like Harvard University back in 2018 saying that Bitcoin is more likely to hit $100 than $100,000, and now Harvard University this past week bought $442 million worth of Bitcoin. I mean, education, you know? It is ironic that all of the money that they took in fees for education over the past few years, they just dumped it into a thing that several years ago, if they'd have just dumped in a minorly small amount of money, they would have had the same amount of money. But away from the silliness and the funnities, let's have a look at the ETF flows for the day, which were largely positive. Good news. It's not wholly positive, it's just largely positive. 25th of November, which was yesterday, 128 million into Bitcoin. The day before, 151 million out, and the day before, 230. You can see, though, that the red is kind of slowing down at this point. Bit less momentum in the red side of things, and it's probably not going to continue for that much longer. I really feel like we're due a bounce because things are starting to develop, as Crypto Rover pointed out on Twitter today. The US Treasury bought back $750 million worth of its own debt. Today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Fed is going to release its balance sheet. And if the balance sheet is positive, altcoins will go parabolic. If the balance sheet is negative, altcoins are going to get wrecked. But the same applies to Bitcoin as well. So we're going to have a big move today. But if that balance sheet has gone up, you know people are going to start pricing in a bunch of money printing next year. And then the trend changes again. You can't make bets on a trend that you can't see. This is my problem with the bears. It would be all right saying I'm bearish because the Fed keeps easing and reducing the amount of money in circulation, but they're not. They're about to increase again. I'd be very willing to bet today that number comes out higher. In fact, I am betting today that number comes out higher because we are still in these positions, everybody. This one's 16, this one's 500, and that one's 600. So not as good as it was yesterday. 17 and a bit and 27 in the account now. It was at 30 something in yesterday's video, the low 30s. Don't really matter. Ultimately, I've reset my cash out point on this Ethereum trade. I updated the challenged group in Discord today. And if you want to join the Discord, join Crypto Saving Expert. You'll find a link for it in the video description. Sign up, make an account, get yourself the community tier on a monthly plan. Use the 35% discount code in the video description. And back to the video, because it's going to be a week of Fed craziness this week. Kevin HASSETT is now President Trump's top choice to replace Jerome Powell as the chair of the Federal Reserve. This is the man, this is what he looks like, and this is what he says.
And for ordinary folks, it shows how out of touch these people are. I get to
it's so
all the
silly.
time. I just say it.
So Kevin HASSETT, Secretary Bessent said that he's interviewed the last 5 people. Are you going to have a new job as Fed chair come December? If you were offered that job, would you take it?
Yeah, President Trump and I have talked a lot about it. I first really want to say that I love being the director of the National Economic Council, and I show up every day for work thinking only about that. And you know I'm going to be in the office tomorrow, the one right next to where you were. But if he were to ask me to be Fed chair, then of course I would have to say yes, because I want to serve my country and I want to serve my president. But you know, we'll see how it goes. There are a lot of great candidates.
This is going to be a fun cycle. The next part, he wants to make Mr. Trump pump. He wants to make him happy. He wants to serve Mr. Trump. And that is the kind of man I want in charge of the Fed. Maybe not, it might not be good for society, but it is definitely good for me. It's good for Bitcoin. It's good for crypto. Fire up that printer. Fire it. And I already like the look of that man. That man is looking like a nice, sexy man. Gone are the days of waiting for a miserable Jerome Powell meeting. It's gonna be HASSETT pumps galore. I'm excited. Jerome Powell, anyway, is in big trouble. What a surprise. Just give this a watch.
Rates are down despite the Fed. I mean, you got to work in this guy. He's got some real mental problems. No, he's something wrong with him. It's just sweet. I'd be honest. I'd love to fire his ass. He should be fired. Guy's grossly incompetent, and he should be sued for spending $4 billion to build a little building. I'm building a ballroom that's going to cost a tiny fraction of that, and it's bigger than the whole thing put together.
The funniest part of all this is Trump doesn't have the power to fire. You can't get rid of him even if he wanted to, because otherwise he would have done by now. But he'll be gone soon. And then this beautiful man right here, he's going to make us all very rich. He's not the only man that's calling for cuts within the Fed right now. Fed's mirroring says the economy calls for large interest rates cuts. And there is going to be a massive upgrade to Ethereum as well in the next couple of days on December the 3rd. It's called the massive Fukasa upgrade, according to Rover, but I would argue that it's just called Fukasa. But either way, it's massive. But this massive upgrade is there on the line on the screen. So we'll see what happens. I mean, generally, these things are pretty non-events. Don't forget, we've still got more catalysts. Like Bloomberg analysts have said that Michael Saylor's strategy will qualify to join the S&P 500 again next month. So in December, he is up for relisting in the S&P, which could be a massive bullish catalyst for Bitcoin. Because if Michael Saylor was to join the S&P, you understand what that would mean. That would mean that because all of these index funds are traded by pension funds and everything, it would mean that everybody's portfolio gets a piece of Bitcoin within it, technically, by proxy of owning a piece of MicroStrategy stock. Now, in the past few days, that's the hype that JP Morgan has been trying to go against MicroStrategy on, saying, oh, they'll never join it because of the MSCI index not allowing them to. But actually, there's no rule there that says that they can't join. So every 3 months, every quarter, it comes up for review. And if it is approved and they are accepted and currency continues to inflate at about 3% a year, all of that extra money that gets dumped into the stock market every year will partially go towards MicroStrategy. Now, in other news, Adolf Hitler has been elected as a leader in Namibia, and there are politicians in America giving tax dodging advice on Fox News. I just love the state of America right now. It's an absolute clown show, but it's an amazing clown show because it's making us a lot of money, because over the next couple of years, there's still a few more years of this clown show left to run. What kind of government goes out and says, you know, guys, you can dodge capital gains tax by just putting it in Bitcoin? It's just mad. You're the government. You meant to be taxing us. You meant to be kind of trying to get your money off us, so then you can go and blow it on interest or something. Just stop telling us tax advice. Anyway, give this a what.
Well, look, we're talking about affordability. That's just your dollar's been getting crushed. You know, the house that you live in didn't inherently get more valuable. The money that you measure it in got worth less. And gold is another indicator. One of the best performers in the past year or 2 years has been gold. And that's just one of the worst performers has been the dollar. So a lot of people hold other assets. Bitcoin's been one of the big rises over the you know, last 10 years for sure. And you could pay your taxes in Bitcoin and avoid capital gains on that.
Yeah, wild. But anyway, we need to figure out what the crack is, because as you all know, I'm a Solana bull. I'm not going to show you how much Solana I've got. That seems like a dumb idea. I was literally just about to show you how much Solana I've got. I mean, we're not doing that. That's a stupid idea. But I'm a Solana bull. I've been buying a lot of Solana recently, shall we say. And business profits, by the way, insane. I know the market's not going as well as possible recently, but my business in crypto, aside from the trading end of it, has had its most profitable months ever, which is mad. So from my perspective, I see these metrics as in a completely different way, in that we're in a very healthy system. It's just been pressured down by a lack of leverage and a lack of open interest. So from my perspective, we're just going to keep motoring upwards. I look at these levels up here, 160. Look, we could draw a bunch of fancy lines on a screen. Who cares? We're going to do that. Like, yeah, we can go into depth on it in another time. It doesn't matter that much. The point is, there is a couple of support levels, a couple of resistance levels, and that's really about it. The main one to be paying attention to is on Bitcoin is $86,000. In fact, it's lower than that at this point. It's like $85,000. We basically need to hold this level of support here. And the thing is, we can hold this level of support even by coming down and retesting it. So you might end up in a scenario in the next couple of days whereby the price goes back upwards here, maybe gets up to like 89k, something like that, and then it sharts itself down to like 81 again, and everyone will be screaming bear market. If it gets down to 81k and it doesn't break this yellow line here, buy it, because it's going to do that, and it'll do a full-on W there. I am not 100% sure whether it's up or down is the next move, but I do know that I'm holding on to my positions here, and I'll continue to hold on to them. And the other day we added to the pump trade as well. So I mean, my overall outlook at the moment is bullish. I don't know how you can be bearish. Just zoom out on the chart, guys. It's not take a genius to. I mean, there'll be guys out there go, "Oh, you need to be using this particular strategy." And then f off, you don't. You literally just need to look at a line. Yeah, line's a bit lower than usual, quite aggressively lower than usual. Buy it, because the big white line in the middle of the screen is currently sat at $97,000, and that's peak liquidity. Bitcoin always chases the money. When you spot where the money levels are, $97,000. Now, I bet, without even having checked it and not even having refreshed it, because this is not up to date, I refresh the Ethereum one and I refresh the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps right now, and we go over and we check where those levels are, I would be willing to bet that's a lot around 97, and I'm correct. Boom. 97k. So in terms of Bitcoin, 97k becomes a new target. In terms of Ethereum, 3,284 becomes a new target. I've set my take profit on this trade a little bit before that, 3,091 or something. I've set the take profit at. Where's the take profit? Does it tell us there? It does. There we go. Right, 3,091 is where I've set that take profit. I might adjust that again if we start approaching it at quite some speed. I'll probably close it and leave it, because the entry on that trade is pretty incredible. Now, of course, we are trading for a $10,000 to $1 million trading challenge right now. So if you want to join that, check out the link for WEEX in the video description. Sign up on WEEX, deposit and trade on WEEX, and there are some very lovely things that you can get, including significant fee discounts. And also, if you actually want to follow the challenge, Crypto Saving Expert, I already told you about that, link in the video description. If you want to also learn how to trade, WEEX in the top corner right now, there's a thing. You can watch it, a tutorial. Yeah, on that note, guys, I'm bullish. I could draw a million lines on a screen here, but it seems pointless because I already drew the important ones, so what's the point in wasting anyone's time? I see these guys making like a half-an-hour TA video, and I just think I can't be arsed with that. There's just no point. We're not in like a super giga volatile range here. We're in an accumulation range, and if we do move to the downside, it's probably not going to be very long-lived. I'd say buy dips, don't over leverage yourself, and if you want up-to-date trading calls and information, join the Discord. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for watching. Make sure if you have enjoyed it, do drop a like on it. I would really appreciate that, because it really does increase the amount of views that we get, especially if you press like at the end of a video rather than at the start of the video, because then YouTube like logs the watch time and everything. Yeah, see you in a bit. Have a nice day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Ciao.